host, and he's a big deal now.
Right?
He's
Right?
like,
This
I'm running
guy.
a tight ship.
This guy.
There's standards around here, people. Kind of.
No, there isn't.
Oh man. By the way, shout out. Random
Yeah?
like Indiana Derby like
Yeah.
swag
Ooh,
in my
look at
background.
that. Hey.
Growler. The finest glass in the
Remind
history
me-
of glasses. This is Indiana Derby 22.
Got a couple. Yeah.
Well,
You
let's
got
get
some
after
nice
it.
stuff.
Horse Racing Happy Hour, Indiana edition. Thanks for hanging out with us. Josh Rodriguez, Barry Spears, you know her as Racing Rachel McLaughlin, of course, me, Louie Rabeau, hanging out with you on a random Monday edition of the program ahead of the Wednesday card there at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Rachel, when I told you I was going to be doing this show, you were very concerned I was going to ask you to contribute. But good day to you. How are you?
I'm good. Well, just so everyone that knows, we're recording my part. We're recording this on a Monday, so we're racing right now.
Literally
so,
racing, yes.
Yeah, literally racing. Like at this moment, the order of finish is right on my screen. But yeah, so I was like, well, and then I forgot I'm not co-hosting. He's got co-hosts. I can just come on and give my 2 cents. So I was like, oh, Louie, mwah, I love it because I can't drink. I can't drink right now. I'm working.
Yeah, working is a thing.
I'd
Yeah,
be
no
on
doubt
a
about it.
lot longer if I could drink.
Rachel hanging out with us. Appreciate it very much. We're getting into the heavier part of your schedule there at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Of course, a terrific balance of both open company and state bred company throughout your cards throughout the year. But on Wednesday, we see the bulk of your stakes races, and that gets going in a meaningful way this week. A pair of handicaps and that Cleopatra. And Rachel, something we've talked about, frankly, Barry and I a lot on different programs that we've done together is just the how much Horseshoe's grown up, and these are the kinds of days where you really see it. You get a packed field in both of the handicaps that are state breds, but in that open company, you know all of the trainers that are in it, right? Because they're all shipping up there. It's an opportunity at $100,000 type of stakes. You guys have to be absolutely thrilled with how the stakes program's going.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that people say. Well, degenerates, anyways. They love the Wednesday program because it's the middle of the week, and there's guys that are sitting there at their computer, probably at work, and they don't have any racing to put on the other screen. But they do now, so it's been wonderful for. I mean, it's mutually beneficial. We're not running on top of all these big tracks, and then also it gives the bettors something to look forward to when there's really not normally any scheduled stakes races or handicaps or whatever. So we're very, very excited to have these Wednesday stakes races. The Cleopatra, the one smooth operator is in race 7, and then we've got the Corningstone, which is one of those little like signature, I like to call them $55,000 handicaps.
Yep.
And then a nice maiden to round it out. So we got 10 thoroughbred races Wednesday. I am super, super stoked.
Yeah, that late sequence, especially on the thoroughbred side, is very, very high quality. Hard to miss the size of the fields and all of that. Low takeouts up there at Indiana as well. If you are joining us for the first time, just at 12% on the pick 5s, 15% on the pick 4s as well, which have been a great, great value up there as well. Josh likes to play the turf pick 3 up there. I love that dollar minimum on that thing as well, just because you guys kind of can't go to $3 because the field sizes are too big.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Seriously.
Seriously, that's like the funniest thing about it. But yeah, we do have a lot of those good wagers that are starting. I'm trying to get my paper so I can tell you guys. But yeah, it'll be race 6 that the pick 3 starts, race 7 that the late pick 4 starts, and the late pick 5 also starts on the same race that the all turf pick 3 does, race 6. So a key race there, I would say, in the 6th on Wednesday for your wagering, for sure.
No doubt about it. We'll go through that later. Do you have a favorite to Cleopatra at this point?
I don't. Like I told you guys, and I always tell. Listen, here's the thing is because I have to handicap 136 days or whatever it is in a row. I have and Louie knows me in my personal life, and he knows that I am not at all organized at all. I am a right-brained, fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal, but with like handicapping and the production, I have to have it like in a schedule or I'll lose my mind. And I also will get confused as to which horses I'm talking about. So I've gone over it, and I do have a handful that I really do like, and I think are ones that you absolutely have to bet on. But by the time this airs, I probably will have it toned down. Now the 4 is the morning line favorite, so let's just start there, which I'm going to include. It's just that this horse is not tested, I would say, and I think Louie would agree with me there. East Jabib is the filly, and she's done impressive stuff. She's put up good numbers, and I think this is a good black type step up in the succession of her races. Obviously, it's fitting, and she's routed on turf, so I get why she's the morning light favorite. It's just I think some of these in here are a little bit more classier. What do you think, Louis?
I agree with you that East Jabip makes a lot of sense here. Do any of you use that as a turn of phrase by chance? Do any of you know what that means? It means BFE essentially. That's what it means. East Bajip. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. Just the middle of
I
nowhere.
don't know. What does BFE mean? I'm not familiar with that nomenclature, my friend.
Big French eclair. French eclair.
Okay. I like those.
Yeah, it's spectacular. Oh, yeah, you get the filling, all the chocolate on top.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, a little
I'm not saying it. You're not getting me to lose my job, Barry, okay? I'm not walking into that trap.
But,
he just wants me to get fired so he can take my... No, I'm just kidding.
It's something like that, but you might not even have to get fired for Barry to take your job. I'm learning
I know,
that very
right?
quickly.
I know.
That's right. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think in that race,
just give me a bad rep, man.
Man's good. No, you're good. It's a compliment. You're good.
I think
better
there's
watch
some
our
other,
back when you're around.
Some other places to look, though, Rachel. I think a horse coming out of a maiden win for Rusty Arnold, the 8 horse in here, is really interesting. And how about now Axel Concepcion will get the ride there. Finally kind of put it together last time. But hey, lots of questions here. But the good news is, and I think one of the reasons that a lot of trainers like bringing their horses up, especially at this point in their development, is hey, gets to stay on Lasix for this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? That I do want to say for some of the people that are out there, and I know all the degenerates and people who are big into racing know this, but I do want to let you guys know we run them as handicaps so that we can run them on Lasix. Yep. I always think that's so. Eric and I still call them stakes. I mean, we all still call them stakes, but I always tell people, especially on race day, I'm like, I don't want to hear the S word because I'll say it wrong and then I'm in trouble. The only handicap for sure. But yeah, that one I think is very interesting from Rusty Arnold. And then I like the 11 on the outside Hit Parade. I think that Brad Cox horse is going to be in the mix somewhere. Like, I just really don't think that you can leave that one off of a ticket. She's such a nice filly, and she had a couple of wide trips. She didn't get the kind of race that she wanted in those last 2, and I think she fits in here because those were $250,000, $300,000 stakes races. This is a nice $150,000 black type. I think this is another one that she'll fit in here. But that's the question mark is the turf. So like I said, there's some horses in here who have a lot more experience, maybe have raced in better races, but they maybe aren't as good at the distance, or they're not proven on the surface. So it's just they put together a really fun race to bet on. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, should be a really fun card on Wednesday. We'll let you go, Rachel. Get back to your stuff there in the office.
No, wait, I want to hear what the boys do. The boys have picks? Do you guys have picks in the race? Have you looked at it yet, Barry?
You know what? Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's go ahead.
I want to know what the boys think.
We will jump
before I jump off. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm turning.
Thing goes on the bottom of the screen. No. There's production now, Rachel. You're used to Gandolfo, and it's a different show now. And so
I know. I'm so sorry.
Oh man.
But so what you do now is you start at the beginning of the card and you just go through it.
That's usually
so it
what we
will
do.
Mess you up if the boys tell me what they like.
No,
okay.
No, 0%.
We're
going straight to race day. We're going to Cleopatra right now.
I have stars in my eyes when it comes to Barry. I want to know what he thinks.
Barry's a chalk eater for this one. Barry, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I do like East Jabib quite a bit in this spot. Very well meant. Brian Lynch wouldn't bring this horse over there if they didn't have an inkling that this horse might be as good as anybody in this race. I think even with the light schedule they've had, the 2 wins, they kind of stand out compared to everybody else in this race. So I definitely like the 4 there.
4, 3, and 10 for you. You've got Back Ring Buzz. In the second spot here, Mike Maker, Fernando De La Cruz, guy that wins as many races as anyone up at Horseshoe Indianapolis to ride here, was in the Sanibel Island last out.
Yeah, he ran good she ran good in the Sanibel Island against Tam Tam, who came out of that and ran in another race that I thought was a little bit over their head.
Sure.
Gets better post position this time, which will definitely help, and gets a field that they can handle. Getting Lasix again is definitely a factor here. This horse ran pretty good with Lasix back at Turfway in February. should get a good trip. And I think they'll be right around it when it's all said and done.
And Josh, you went to the 8-horse in here, the one that I mentioned earlier. How about now makes the trip up north for Rusty. Arnold Axel Concepcion gets the mount here. This is one coming out of a maiden win at Keeneland at the highest level in that maiden special weight company. I love a horse coming out of a maiden win.
Yeah, this is just a horse that's after 4 starts just improved each time. Obviously had the 2 dirt tries, but as soon as they put this horse on turf, seemed to respond. Just kind of missed in that first race at Gulfstream Park, but Keeneland, was able to win by open lengths in that race and got a 1:12 time form figure, which towers over the field here actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if this 8 actually gets bet down quite a bit. I do think the 4 East Jabip, who's lightly raced, does look good in this spot. The last race, I don't know if what we think of the figure. The figure seems kind of low for that last race. So, but this horse is still just run faster than a lot of these other horses. So I think you got to use the 4. And really the only other horse I used was the 1 Resplendence coming in here. Has a race 2 back. Where they went wire to wire in like a stakes or listed race there for 175,000, won by open lengths there, and that figure once again is another one that fits in with this group. Hasn't been on the turf since Kentucky Downs last year, but if you just kind of look at the progression of this horse has gotten better and better and better. If they can carry some of that turf waveform over here, I think this is a horse that can win at a big price.
Resplendence.
I love it.
Resplendence winless as a 2-year-old has really come into her own. As Josh mentioned, yes, on the synthetic at Turfway, but all of her wins as a 3-year-old. Did try the Bourbonnette Oaks up the track 6th in that one, trying to qualify for the Kentucky Derby. There you go, Rach. A little flavor of the 8th race. How about that?
Good. Burgos and Lobo have won a couple races together too. So be sure,
Yep.
I really like that angle because Lobo, it was really should have been bet down more, but awesome. I love it. I will be sure to keep track of who beats who here, even though we're all pretty much on the 4.
See you, Rach.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you, Rachel.
Racing Rachel. Appreciate her jumping on the program with us.
Hey, I should be in the middle.
Update these things.
You should be in the middle because she's starstruck by you. Now I know how Louie feels. Everyone just wants to talk to Barry.
It's crazy. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Bro, Wyckoff comes on radio this morning. And I got no time for this, by the way. Comes on 11 o'clock.
You got all the time.
Hanging out. No, I love the guy, right? That's my dude. Like, Barry knows this. Like, Wyckoff's my guy forever, right? And dude comes on. I'm like, yeah, have you met Barry? Yeah, Barry's making the trip. Oh, no. I'm fascinated by Barry's story, and I enjoy listening to him, and I can't wait to. I'm like, get out of here, Paxing, just waxing
my
guy.
guy.
Barry Spears, get out of here with this.
That's my man right
there.
there.
Go cover another meth deal in Maryland somewhere. Get out of here, Scott Wyckoff, whoever you might be. Good Lord. All right, well, if you are new to the program, this is Happy Hour Indiana. We get together about 10 or 12 times a year, including an intensive dive into the Indiana Derby. We will be there for the draw on the Monday of Indiana Derby week. That'll be Josh. That'll be me. And then on Saturday, all 3 of us will hang out. Got a nice little spot underneath the canopy there at Horseshoe Indianapolis. We would love to have you come hang out with us. We do an hour show before the races get going on July 11th. So come on out on that day. If you haven't been to the Indiana Derby and you live in the Midwest, you are missing out. It is a fun day of racing. No cost to get in, cost you nothing to park, all the good things. Come on out and hang out with us there at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Boys, how we doing? Little Racing Rachel cameo to open it. And yeah, Barry, we know how you're doing. Josh, how are you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. The weather's finally starting to turn here in Chicago, so we're finally starting to have spring, mid-May. So, beach volleyball season started last week, and I was playing in 40-degree weather.
No, thank you.
Barry Spears, who would get frostbite from playing volleyball in 40-degree weather. How are you, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think I'd come out of the house unless it was at least 65.
We got a situation this week, Josh, that I love. I'm taking Barry Spears to a farm party on Thursday. I can't describe another thing that I would rather do in the world than take Barry Spears to a farm party in Maryland. I'm
just got to get reaction, or like my face when I see things.
It's I'm gonna stand 3 feet behind Barry and let him lead and just see what happens at this farm party.
I can't wait to see the pictures.
Me neither. Well, maybe I get on a horse or something.
No, we always do this. What's funny is we always do this, Josh, and we're going to show up and everyone's like, oh, Sniper's here. Oh, here, Urban Handicapper's here. Oh, I know you from Twitter. Like, that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be like, who are you again? What do you do? Oh, you're in media? I had no idea. Like that's what's gonna happen to me on Thursday. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I love it. It's a real pick me up going to Maryland with Barry. It's great. Let's get into it though. We capped the card on this show. If you're familiar with the layout of SoCal Saturdays on our platform, very similar thing here, except I do a lot less handicapping. Race 1 is on Wednesday. By the way, we were doing the Wednesday card at Horseshoe Indianapolis because of the stake schedule, a $15,000 state bred claimer for non-2 lifers, 5.5 on the dirt here. And like I said, Indiana breds 3 and up, which have never won that second race. We go to Barry first in race 1. Where'd you land here, Barry?
I landed on number 3, Covert Kid. I thought this horse ran pretty good races last year. Both races last year, actually. Won one of them, maiden claimers, state breds for 15,000. Kind of won that one going away by 7 1/4 lengths. Then came back and almost paired it up with a $15,000 claimer non-winners a 2 win, but just missed. And then they laid the horse off until April of this year. Didn't really get a good trip that first time. Just didn't get a great start and kind of lost all hope. They dropped back into a spot that was similar to what they did before, that 15,000 non-winners a 2. I think they fit to a T. They just got to step on the gas and go forward. They got an apprentice in the saddle, and I think that horse is going to go to the lead and win this race, hopefully.
Covert Kid, winner at the 15 maiden level. Tried the 15 non-2 last year, almost got there, had the lead for much of that race at this distance of, at 6 furlongs, frankly, probably would have won the race at 5.5, 3, 7, and 6. For Barry here, Josh, you landed on the 3 as well. Go ahead and make the case for him if there's anything you need to add, but Somebody King makes second spot for you, 12-1.
Yeah, I just agree with Barry. I think this is the horse that's going to be on the lead with the 3, Covert Kid. Second up for this season. I think we're going to see a little bit of improvement. Probably just needed that race last time out. So really like Covert Kid in this spot. And then the one Somebody King. We talked about this a little bit in the stakes race. This is a horse that's got 4 starts and has just progressed forward in each one of those starts. Granted, that allowance race last time, right? You look at it and you're like, well, horse finished 5th by 22 lengths. Figure actually came back all right from that race. So, I think if Somebody King can kind of make another step forward there, that second time out for the season, I think he's going to be right in there at 12-1 in the morning line.
Somebody King, of course, a 3-year-old gelded son of Somebody, joke on sommelier, believe it or not, amongst that ownership group, is a son of Into Mischief, if you are so interested in sire lines. How about a little sire line talk in Indiana? How about that, Barry?
That's nice. That's nice. I like that.
A little race 2 talk. You like that, Barry? I like that a lot. Race 2 there is a state bred maiden at the $15,000 level, mile on the dirt for this one. 3 and up, 18.5 in the kitty for this one, Josh. And you and Barry, very similar at the top of this race. You landed on Amigo Meister.
Yeah, I think Amigo Meister here, coming off the layoff, is a horse that did fire first off for trainer Tim Eggleston here. So, I'm not really afraid of the long layoff here. I do like the fact that they're, kind of slightly cutting back, going back to the mile here. This is another horse that I would also watch the weather on. If we do get any kind of rain or whatever, I think you even upgrade this horse a little bit more because this is a horse that's run really well on the slop. I'm going with the first-time starter, Sig X5, as my second choice here. Now, Aaron West, 17% with his first-time starters, but he doesn't really debut these horses going a route distance often, but he's 1 for 4 when he's done it. Him and Bermudez are 23% for the Indianapolis meet for the year. So, I think if he's got a live one, he's putting Bermudez up. So I like the 6 as my second pick, but yeah, I like Amigo Meister as my top pick in this race.
4-6 for Josh, 6-4 for you, Barry. You're going to try that first round top.
Yeah, usually in races like this, I tend to gravitate to horses that haven't run very much, if at all, because I think they just haven't proven themselves to be bad yet. Not saying that all these horses are bad, but they're just not winners. And like Josh was alluding to, Aaron West did this one time out of 4. And gets his go-to rider on this horse. I think this horse is probably well meant. Hooks a field that's not that tough to where they could get a real good chance at winning this race. First time out, gets what I think is a really soft field.
Sig X5, a son of Basin, who's the son of Liam's Map. bred in Indiana, of course, a 3-year-old gelding. You got Amigo Meister in the second spot. That's a son of Adios Charlie. All Bark No Bite is 4-5 on the line here. I was a little surprised by the number, Barry. I thought like 7-5, 8-5 would have been a more appropriate number than that one for this trainee of Gennaro Garcia. What has to go right for him to win here?
Nobody else has to run, basically. That's really how that goes. If everybody just lays down and nobody does any running, that horse will probably win. I don't think that's possible. Obviously, this horse has a good shot at winning this race, but still, in my estimation, it hasn't really been close. Not yet, anyway. And a 4-year-old to boot.
Yeah, no, that's not wrong. We'll move on to race 3. If you're just joining us, this is Happy Hour Indiana on the Horse Racing Happy Hour podcast platform. Josh Rodriguez and Barry Spears alongside me, Louie Rabeau. We're here 10, 12 times a year doing this show. Appreciate everybody jumping on. We are previewing Wednesday's card at Horseshoe Indianapolis, which includes a pair, actually a trio of handicaps. In race 3, though, we will find ourselves handicapping another state-bred race here, a maiden special in this case, 6 furlongs on the dirt, 3 and up in this one. They're running for $36,000 here. Barry, you and Josh landed on the same horses, but in opposite order here. Why'd you land on the 5?
I just thought this horse could be forgiven for that first race. The beaten favorite on April 22nd came out of that race, and it looks like, at least on paper, that race might be a little bit faster than all the others. And I really, don't like picking chalk. It really hurts my feelings, but I really couldn't avoid it here. I think this horse out of Army Mule seems to be the goods. Just didn't get a great start last time. If you watch that replay, the horse really did hesitate, then got bumped out, and then kind of ran around. I think we can forgive that one. This horse is entered on in a different race today. I didn't see if they ran or not, but hopefully they didn't, and we can knock this one out of the park on Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Josh, you have this one third in your handicapping, but you went 1-4-5 here. Essentially the same trio as Barry. See you when you get here on top for you from the inside.
Yeah, I just thought that See You When You Get There was kind of against the race flow last time. Kind of seemed like, I don't know. I just thought that race, you kind of putting the line through first up there. You looked at how this horse fired first time out. You go with a 52 buyer. And I just think that if this horse can actually get up there, get close like he did first time out, I think he's going to be much in a much better spot than he was that last time, where he kind of just like was on the inside and just was kind of like running around in a circle. I think if he can get out the gate clean, I think the one's got a really good shot here. But yeah, I like Barry's 5. Obviously, lightly raced horse coming second time out. Ran fine in that debut. And then I'm also going to use the 4 Coaxed, who is first up this year for John Heron. And I think it's just a horse that has had 2 starts, progressed in that second start. Let's see what he does this third time up, first time this year. So 1-4-5 for me.
Yeah, John Heron, 12% off this kind of layoff. We see many horses at Horseshoe, Josh, off these kinds of layoffs this time of year, right? That are coming back from fall campaigns, getting back into things here either in April or in early May. Barry, you went 5-4-1. Anything to add about Coax there?
No, not really. It seems like this horse is just naturally getting better. Another 4-year-old maiden that needs a little bit of luck, I think. And they might be able to get it if this pace heats up front, but they're definitely better than most of these horses for sure.
Move on to race 4 here on the card at Horseshoe Indianapolis for Wednesday. Louie Rabeau hanging out with you. This is Happy Hour Indiana, excuse me. An allowance awaits us in race 4, 6 furlongs on the dirt here for 3 and up. Non-2 lifers in this one, 46,000 on the line, Josh. In this race here, we are sprinting on the dirt here. This is a fun one. I really like this race, Josh. Where'd you land a race 4?
Yeah, I landed on the 5 in this race, Invictus. And so when I looked at this race, I think you look at the morning line favorite, 2-1 on the number 6, Tiz Eddie, right? But if you go back and you look at this horse's history, that first race every year is an absolute stinker. And then all of a sudden, the horse, second time out, it's like, all right, he knows the season started and he starts kicking in the gear. He's really kind of a mid to late season type horse. And if you go back and look at his first starts every season, he just doesn't seem to fire that first time. So that's kind of why I'm not using the 6. I mean, if you're somebody who bases, off of figures and stuff, I mean, great. Like, this horse has got a huge number that should beat these horses by multiple lengths. However, this is a horse, if you're someone who looks at form cycles, who needs at least a race or two to kind of get going. So that's why I kind of faded the 6. So when I look past that, I think the 5 is going to kind of sit right up there with the 6, kind of get that tracking trip, and it's probably going to get first run on the 6 as he's kind of just tires out. And I really think the 5 Invictus is going to be the one who's going to be able to kind of pass him there in the going. If not, the 4 Miracle Worker can probably work out a similar trip. Does have some tactical speed, has been on the lead, but I think his preferred spot is to kind of track just off. Does have some back races that make him extremely competitive here, and has, like I said, is already in mid-season form. Has had 2 runs here, shipping in from Oak Lawn Park. And then just to kind of round it out, I do like the 2 here, Burlsworth. Another shipper in here from Oak Lawn, and just kind of, once again, this is just a horse that's got a couple of back races that fit in here, and if something does happen on the front end with the 4, the 5, and the 6 all kind of maybe vying for the lead, I think the 2 just kind of inherits the garden trip on the rail, and is able to kind of save a little bit of ground and kind of close into it. So 5-4-2 for me.
5-4-2 in race 4 for Josh Rodriguez. Barry Spears says 4, 6, and 5. Barry, I gotta ask you, I handicap and I read the form a lot. When's the last time you saw a 7-1 morning line? I feel like in modern horse racing, we get 4, 9-2, 5,
8-1,
6, and then it skips to 8, and then it goes to 10.
Yeah.
You might get a 15-1 then, right? 7-1 though, I don't see very often. I'm not hating on it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No,
Obviously,
no,
I'll
you're
take
right.
7-1 on a lot of horses, right? I just don't see it very often.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of horses don't land on that number for whatever reason, even in the betting.
Yep. Right.
7-1 is such a
It's
weird
very
price.
unusual, yeah.
Because usually they'll either tick down to 9-2 or 5-1, and or higher to 10-1. So 7-1 is really a strange number, but I do like it on Miracle Worker. I'm going to forgive that last race. The horse just was kind of over their head. Dapper Moon is a pretty nice horse, came out of that one, running in stakes races. But the thing I like about Miracle Worker is they won a decent race in the teeth of that Oak Lawn meet back in March 14th, where they got claimed. That was a really good race out of that horse. Then they stepped up and ran a pretty decent race in company they probably had no business hanging around with, and they ended up finishing 3rd. I'll forgive that one on April 18th. They should get a nice trip here. I like their running style where they're going to be close enough to the front end without being on the front end and be able to make their own trip, possibly, if things fall the right way, which I think they should. 7-1 seems to be a really good price, getting one of the barn's better riders or go-to riders. And Cipriano Contreras is on all cylinders at Horseshoe so far. So we're gonna use that one on top.
Cipriano Contreras, early 20 wins in 110 starts to begin the year, not just at Horseshoe, but in general. That is good enough for 18%, 2 for 5 in his first 5 starters up there in Shelbyville. Move on to race 5. On the card on Wednesday here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour, this is our Indiana edition of the program. A maiden 7,500 awaits us there. 6 furlongs on the dirt, $14,500 in the purse. And this is for Indiana breds on the filly and mare side, 3 and up. Barry, we go to you here. You're an odd fellow. It's an odd race. Who would you land on?
And funny enough, it rhymes. Sleepy's Tater Todd is pretty odd, but I kind of like that horse in this race. I'm going to forgive that first effort.
Clever bastard, by the way. I don't need you being clever on this show as well. You already got your butt kissed by Rachel. I don't need you being clever with rhyming and this kind. And I don't need it. Let me have the dad jokes. Get out of here, bro. Like, I don't know.
My fault. My bad. I'll pull back. Whoa, horsey.
You liar.
Yeah, whoa, horsey. But I thought that race could be forgiven. They were off slowly and just really didn't get into it. They were 4-1 that day, and I thought that was interesting. In a race that's basically higher class than this one. Also getting blinkers on, You see a couple of bullet works there, or actually one bullet on April 9th, and then another good workout right after that seemed to be better than most of these other horses. So 12-1 seems like a good enough price for me. I'm going to take a shot with that one in a race that could be wide open.
Contreras and Silva do have a win this meet at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Barry throwing one downfield in race 5. Are you throwing one downfield, Josh?
Not really. Well, I do like one price in here. I really do think the 3 Lo Machar at 3-1, does look to be, last time at this level ran what's probably a winning race here. So just looking for him to kind of pair that race up from last time and kind of see where that goes. But I did like the number 5 in this race. Love It or Leave It at 15-1. I'm looking at a horse that's getting Lasix for the first time, and this is a horse that's just kind of they started off in maiden special weight overhead, but was a very productive race. Goes to another race, another key race comes out of that race and just drops down. Now is dropping another time, is getting Lasix for the first time. And although that's not Antonio Duran's game, right? He's, I think, 1 for 11 when adding Lasix for the first time. We see this happen with horses all the time. Especially now in the world of not every horse getting Lasix. A lot of these horses just need it. The American breeding industry was very, very much on, horses that needed Lasix for a very long time. So we got these horses out there still. I look at the work pattern. The work pattern looks all right here. Looks like this horse has been working consistently. So I'll take a price at 15-1 here with the horse getting Lasix for the first time.
Even with 10 horses in this field, Barry, if you're exact at 8-5 hits in here, what do you think it pays? Are we going 70-1?
Yeah, that seems about right.
See how I did this 7-1 and turned it into 70-1?
Oh,
you see what I did there.
But yeah,
joke,
I agree.
Math jokes are cool.
They are, actually. I try to tell my daughter that all the time, but she doesn't want to believe me.
I don't believe you, actually. Keep going.
Nobody does. I mean, until it happens, right? But I agree with Josh. Love It or Leave It. Has some upside, especially on the drop from 25,000 down to 7,500. Getting Lasix for the first time, I think they're going to try to turn this horse loose and get to the front, which would be probably their best bet in a race that some chronic losers in this race. Like, I think as the starts keep piling up, a lot of these horses are very untrustworthy. Like You're Cool, for example, which Louie isn't, and Amy L is another one that seems to be going in the wrong direction. So I don't know. I think this morning line is a little wonky because this could go a lot of different ways.
That was race 5, end of the early pick 5. Of course, race 6 starts the late pick 5. We'll have a ticket from Josh later on, his A's at least, starting with race 6 on the race 6 is on the turf course there. An allowance at a mile for 3 and up. Non-2-lifers in this one. They're running for $46,000. Josh, we're going to go to you first here. And boy, when you talk about why we're doing this series, and I'm not exaggerating, I think this pick 5 sequence is a good example of exactly why we're doing this series, because so many of us, really do concentrate on Saturday racing and that kind of thing. And the handle reflects that for sure. There's a reason, Josh, that, on the wrong lead or on the happy hour, we're concentrating on Saturdays. But man, if you're betting during the week, this kind of sequence is just spectacular. Who are you including in your pick 5 here in the first leg?
Yeah, I went 3 wide here. This also starts that late turf pick 3, which I'm always a sucker for any kind of turf pick 3. But I really like the 7 Azoy in this spot. Summer Pauly gets the board here, and sometimes with these horses, especially if you look on you look through the PPs and you start getting lazy. You look through the last 3 races, last 4 races, you kind of see, and obviously this horse did win a synthetic race last time out. But if you go back to those turf tries, those time form figs are nice. I mean, they fit in really nicely with this group here. And so I think this is a horse that wants turf, has maybe just been running in, those Churchill races, which, just maybe a little too deep waters here, coming back to Indiana in a slightly easier group and coming off a win. So I really like the 7 Azoi here as my top pick. The 3-1 favorite, Midnight in Finley, I think obviously has got all the bells and whistles. Is a horse that can definitely win. Won at first asking on the turf here at Indiana last year, and then followed it up with 2 solid efforts at Indiana and Churchill. Laid up for 120 days, coming back here, and I think getting back to the right surface, which is turf for this horse. So I like that. And then the 3, just happy to be here. Just another one that I like that they got a race in to start the season, although it obviously was not on the right surface. I do think that this is a turf horse. This is a horse that once they got on the turf, really started to put together some nice races. So I think second up for this horse, coming back to the turf, I expect to see a little bit of improvement there. So I like the 7, 5, and 3 here.
Barry, some overlapping in your handicapping with Josh for this one, but you went to the 10 on top here in Sure. Sammy Bermudez is going to ride for Larry Smith. This is one that we most recently saw at Turfway. Never been on the turf before. What gives you the confidence here?
Well, if you see the sire of the 3 horse, you might have a little idea of why I like this horse. Kind of doing the same sort of thing that horse was doing, where they were running in different races. Basically, this time it's on the synthetic, and then the longer the better. This horse went a mile last time at Turfway and just missed against a horse in Botano who was really wind challenged for a while. But I think this horse in this race makes a lot of sense because all they really have to do is take to the turf, which I think they will. And Bermuda's going to work out a nice trip at a decent price. I don't think this horse is going to take too much action, although I do think they're going to be bet down slightly off of that 8-1 morning line. But they have the right running style. They're going to be up close, not too far back. And I think getting first run might be the move here.
A bit of time to get to that first turn, but gonna have to go. So look for Sure to be on the lead if he is going to pick this one off. You have the 3 and the 7 in your handicapping as well, Barry. I don't have to spend too much time on those since Josh already kind of walked through them, but just happy to be here. For example, Louie is in town to ride on Wednesday. What do you like about him?
I cashed a bet on this horse last summer in that first race on the turf. And in fact, I gave it out on the Notorious OTB podcast when that was still in existence.
Man,
shout out to the Wolf, my guy.
The dude,
but yeah, after that race, they kind of fledgled in these 20,000 state-bred non-winners of one events, and this horse kept getting better despite not winning. They laid the horse off in October, came back in April, didn't really get a good start in a race they probably weren't trying to win anyway. This is a way better spot, getting Louie size. And the reason I went away from this horse on top was because of Louie size. This horse is going to he's going to just get crushed at the windows.
I agree.
And he's probably not as good as even that 9-2.
Okay.
But he's probably going to be more like 2-1 in this spot. And I don't want any part of that. I'm going to go with the horse that might have a pace advantage in the 10.
10, 3, and 7 for Barry, 7, 5, and 3 for Josh. In race 6 kicks off the late pick 5, the thoroughbred pick 5. The late pick 4 starts here in race 7 with the first of the handicaps. The one smooth operator, handicap is race 7, 6 furlongs on the dirt here. Handicaps for the state breds in Indiana run for $55,000, as does this one for 3 and up. We're on the colt and horse side of things here, gentlemen. I'll give out a late pick 4 myself. I really like this sequence. And like I said, this is, again, the kind of sequence why you bet horseshoe in the middle of the week is this exact kind of set of races. Race 7, Barry, odd race means an odd fellow, means you get to go first here. Where'd you land in the one smooth operator?
Yeah, I gotta take that one on the chin because I got nothing to come back with. So I went with the 4. Scotty's on edge. And if you go through this horse's last few races, in fact, I'll name them the last 2. That doesn't really get any kind of mention in the past performances, that this horse took the lead in both of those races. I think this horse ran winning races in both of those races, but just didn't have enough And I think this is the time, especially coming off the claim, third time off the claim, getting Evan Roman, who I think is one of the better jockeys over there. This horse, I mean, these horses in general beat each other up. You can see all the bold and all the past performances in the racing form where these guys were running against each other.
No doubt.
So I think it might be Scotty's on Edge's turn. Drew well here, fits in every category you could think of. I like that last work coming into it in the slop, coming into that last race on May 1st. The quick turnaround makes a lot of sense. And I think this horse is going to be a good price. That 10-1 might hold, and we're going to the hoop with it.
Scotty's on Edge will break from the 4, 7, and 1 for Barry. Josh, you're going to the inside here, trying the one on the rail, literally the one, Chocolate Mousse.
Yeah, I think this horse has gotten a little unlucky the last two times. I think this is a horse that wants some pace in front of him and wants to be able to, make a run and close. And I think just both times this horse has kind of just not gotten enough pace in front. And if you look at the time form pace projector on this one, they think that this is going to be a hot pace. Now, granted, there's 12 horses in here in a sprint. So a lot of times they're just like, hey, it's going to be hot, right? These are a bunch of horses that want to sprint. So I think the only real concern I have is the rail. Is he going to get boxed in? Is he going to have enough room to kind of make a run? But I do think that third off here for this horse. I know he like Barry has said, these horses have kind of been racing against each other, taking turns beating each other. I think this might be Chocolate Moose's turn. I could also possibly see a situation where we get maybe a better price than the 9-2 morning line on this horse. But I probably wouldn't take anything less than that 9-2 on here. I also like the 3 Sleepy as kind of the speed of the speed because, although I'm taking, an off the pace horse, this is still a 6 furlong sprint in Indiana. So speed is usually still good. So give me the speed of the speed. This is a horse that has won on red fractions as well. And, has backed up the last effort last year with a nice effort first up in a stakes race here. So I like the 3 Sleepy as well. And then at a bit of a price, I like the 6 Zolo. If this thing does absolutely melt, I think there's definitely a world where a horse like Zolo is able to kind of pick up the pieces and, gets Rodney Prescott aboard, who we want to talk about good riders. He's off to a heck of a start here.
Yes.
I think he's at nearly 20%, 21% to start this meet. So, you kind of look at the race 4 back. Obviously, that was a route race, but right, that had enough pace in front of him and he was able to kind of close in and find it. So, has a couple of back races that definitely fit in here, and I think he just needs a setup. So, I got 1, 3, and 6 here.
1, 3, and 6 for Josh in race 7. Barry, you have the 7 horse second in your handicapping. I'm asking you to go back and explain Molly's Town because I can't get there with this horse. How did you?
This horse has been running very well, just didn't get the greatest of setups, and I think they might get a better one on Wednesday. There's a lot of speed in this race, especially coming from the outside. There's some on the inside. I think this horse will probably get a way better setup than they've gotten in a long time. And they actually like this surface, and everything is kind of coming together for this horse to run well. Getting Joe Ramos does make a difference for me too. They attract him, his mounts end up being very good. I don't know who his agent is, but they really get on some solid horses, especially at Horseshoe Indianapolis.
Yep.
I think this race sets up really well. The only reason I didn't put this horse on top is because they have a lot of problems at the start of races. Certainly can overcome that in a race like this that's loaded full of pace, but I think they might get out jumped.
All right.
Before get there first. Yeah.
How about
get
that?
it.
A little 4-7-1 for Barry, 1, 3, and 6 for Josh there in the first of a trio of handicaps on Wednesday at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. This is Happy Hour Indiana. Louie Rabeau, Barry Spears, and Josh Rodriguez hanging out with you. We will be back in a few weeks for another set of these. We cap the card all the way through every single time that we get together again. The Wednesday races there at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. We continue on with the $150,000 Cleopatra handicap. Boy, this is a mile on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. And guys, we got a really nice field in here. And I just kind of wanted to pause and talk about that. I mean, Resplendence is in here at 15-1. She won the Cincinnati Trophy. That's on the Kentucky Oaks Trail. And so we're talking about a race with that kind of depth. We talked about this one earlier in the show, guys. Let's go ahead and kind of give a quick pick here. Josh, have you go first. You landed on the 8 horse in here in How About Now. What do we like about How About Now?
Yeah, I just think that last race is the best race that any of these horses have run. And, you know, I get that it was a maiden. This is the horse that's just progressed each time out. If this horse takes a step forward, I mean, this horse is winning by like 5 lengths. So I think if this horse can run back to that effort, should win this race pretty comfortably. So I like How About Now.
Louis Saez will ride East Jabip instead of How About Now, who he rode last time. Axel Concepcion picks up the mount here, which frankly just adds value. That's what it does. At this point, Barry, you landed on the 4. That's East Jabip, and that's where we would find Louis Saez. Do we get 7-2 by the time we get to the gate?
Definitely not. This was going to be sub 2-1, but deservedly so. I think this horse is a good kind of stands out in this spot to me. Although I think Resplendence is probably going to take a lot of money also.
I agree with that, actually.
Going to be way below that 15-1, maybe even second choice. Because of what you just said, this horse won a race that was on the Oaks Trail and didn't run poorly in the Bourbonnette Oaks either. Just wasn't good enough compared to those horses, but get a nice softer spot this time. But I think East Jabip is the goods. You know, that outfit, bringing that horse in for this race makes a lot of sense, and a springboard to something else bigger, but they want to win this one too.
Gets Lasix back here. 4, 3, and 10 for Barry in race 8. The Cleopatra. Josh, race 8, 8, 4, and 1. If you are watching us live and did not catch the handicapping that happened earlier on in the episode when Rachel McLaughlin from Horseshoe Indianapolis joined us as part of the program. We get to the late double here. Race 9 starts the late thoroughbred double, and that is a $5 minimum on that bet. Has turned into one of better bets in the middle of the week, certainly in horse racing. Race 9 is the Corning Stone handicap. We go to the filly and mare side of things. 3 and up, Indiana breds in this one, $55,000 on the line at 6 furlongs. This is essentially the the furthest they can sprint out of that chute there at Horseshoe over the 6 furlongs. I am interested if they're going to try to do something else.
Like what?
Get like a 7 or a 7.5 or even like a mile chute or something, because they got that space
mile would be
there.
Excellent.
They've got that space going into that parking lot there. They could actually do it. And so I wonder, I'm just throwing things out there, things that cost money, you know. Race 9 is, in fact, the Corningstone handicap. Barry, odd race means you go first here. You landed on the 5 in this one. That is 3 coats. Tyler Gaffalione in for Michael Lauer.
So is this named after the Anchorman character Veronica Corningstone, or just
I assume, yes,
some person? I don't know. She was the goods. She was the show, man. I mean, I'm sure Ron Burgundy wouldn't like that, but whatever.
Yeah, he's very angry, shaking his fist somewhere right now. Yes, doing the meme where he invites you to fight. Yeah, doing that, you know, that kind of thing. Yes, but
Jack
you did land
Johnston and I know the line. I got it. But yeah, this race was a very tough race. I mean, you got a lot of horses doing different things. Some in longer races, some in shorter races. Everybody seems to be coming into the race in good form, which makes this race very, very difficult. I ended up going with the 5, 3 coats. And this horse, you know, despite all you see the mile and 16th races on turf, on dirt, does have a win at this distance and a 3rd. Also has 4 wins at at Horseshoe Indianapolis, which kind of stands out a little bit. Getting Tyler Gaffalione to come in and ride definitely piques my interest, because I'm sure that this horse is just going to sit a great trip, especially being, coming out of longer races. I would gather that Tyler's just going to get this horse in the race and kind of hope everybody falls back and this horse is going to keep running. 7-2 seems a little short, but I think we might get that 7-2 when it's all said and done, because Work It Wendy has a lot of speed from the outside, and there really isn't too much speed other than the one, perhaps, and Don't Miss Out. And I would think Imagine the Moon would want to be forwardly placed too. So that could open it up for a bunch of horses to line up in that second flight. Given the rider's situation, I would think that Tyler Gaffleon is going to try to be right in the thick of things, right behind that trio and getting first run.
And if Tyler doesn't make the trip, Louie Saez does not have him out in this race. So I imagine they will the swap out.
Slide right over.
They'll slide. Josh, where you are sliding to a very different spot here. You're going to get aggressive in race 9.
Ooh. Yep, I'm singling the 7. I think, Barry alluded to it. I don't think there's a ton of speed in here. The 1 has been on the lead, but tends to only get the lead when kind of just inherits it. The 7 Work It Wendy. The 7 Work It Wendy definitely does have 6 furlong speed, and I think is going to be able to clear pretty easy here. So I do like the 7 Work It Wendy to kind of go wire to wire, get out there on the front end, and that's going to be my single here in the late pick 5.
This would be a change in form for trainer Rob Dobbs, who is 0 for his last 13 off of this type of layoff. She has been working very well, though, at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Has Work It Wendy to this point, 5-year-old daughter of Greeley's Conquest. Why not? All right, moving on. Final race on the card that we are going to talk about, at least. If you want the, if you would like Josh's thoughts on this, I'm sure he'll be all over Twitter with his thoughts on the closing, the closing quarter horse race. But maiden special weight awaits us in race 10, $43,000 on the line. We're going 5 furlongs on the turf here. And this is for fillies and mares 3 and up. I thought a very, very fun way to close this card. Josh, who'd you land on in race 10?
Yeah, I had 2 horses in this spot. I think my top pick's going to be the number 1, Junior Miss Buttercup here. And this is a horse that's had 2 tries so far on the dirt. But, man, you look at that breeding, you see American Pharaoh on top, you see More Than Ready on the bottom, and you're like, man, I think this horse wants a turf. So I think this horse getting on the turf, I think you're going to see a little bit better of an effort, I think, out of this horse. And this is the horse that was already, compared to the rest of this field, basically winning races. So I do think Junior Miss Buttercup here on the rail is going to show some speed here on the turf. And I just think that this is a horse that looks to be bred for the turf. So I like the 1 here. I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, they try and go further with this horse. You see More Than Ready and American Pharaoh, you're thinking turf route here. So, but I like her in this spot. And then, the number 3, La Puma here, is a horse that's gotten 2 tries on the turf. The first one was yielding. We'll kind of, excuse that one. But I think kind of, last time with Louie Saez aboard, kind of, backed herself up a little bit. Ended up just kind of coming up a little bit short, I think, at the end. And so you see a horse like that, and they're coming out second time. I do think that if the horse just maybe needed that race, I think you'll see an improvement this time out. So going to try and get around that 7-5 favorite, the 7 Amani's Music here with the 1 and the 3.
La Puma is a daughter of Not This Time. The Puma is a son of Essential Quality. La Puma, of course, is Spanish for the Puma, Barry.
It is. The Puma. My guy who got scratched on the...
Man, Josh is a Chicago guy. I hope he loves that joke. Because it's a Chris Farley joke, and I know Chris Farley's not a Chicago guy, but the Bears stuff and all that. But just if you kids don't know Spanish, don't habla español. El Niño is Spanish for the Niño.
I got you.
Such an unbelievably good line. La Puma is Spanish for the Puma. I had to do it once. Glad that I got to do it on this show. Barry, where'd you land in the closer?
For the closer, I landed on La Puma.
Hey,
Puma.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought this horse ran wide at Keeneland in a much better race than this. They just got hung out wide and kind of hung a little bit. I can forgive that effort. Way better post position this time. Santos Sanjor does really well over there. I think this horse is going to be sitting on a really big race. Hopefully we get that 9-2.
3, 7, and 8 for Barry in this one. 1 and 3 for Josh. Let's go ahead. We'll go through our picks here, Josh. Your late pick 5, since it encompasses the most races, you are going to get very aggressive at the end here. A single in the final handicap there. And then, of course, 1 and 3 in the last leg. No wider than 3 legs. Would you look at this more as something you're going to play by itself, or are you going to build off of this as an A ticket?
So no, this has actually got my A's and B's in here,
Okay.
the way I handicapped it. So I'll play this. I'll probably end up pressing it with another, with just an all A ticket. And then, this encompasses that turf pick 3. So I'm going to press my turf opinions by playing that turf pick 3 as well, which is the legs 1, 3, and 5 of there. It comes out to be an $18 play. And with that dollar base, hey, you get a couple $100 off this. So
Correct. Yeah, that's right. No, I love that bet up there. It's got similar takeouts to the other, pick 3s that we've seen around the country, but the dollar minimum just because of the field size. You saw Rachel's smile when I said you can't do it because of field size. I mean, it does stand out that way that they have to keep it at $1. Now, I'm glad it's not 50 cents. Right, I'm glad about that. But yeah, the dollar there, I think, makes a lot of sense. Those are up on the screen, by the way. If you are not watching Josh's picks up there, they'll be available at horseracinghappyhour.com. We'll have our tip sheet up for Wednesday. Absolutely free as part of that as well. But Barry, you decided to play the $2 late all thoroughbred pick 3. So this starts in race 8, $36 ticket here.
Yeah, we're going with the $2 play. Not too deep. But I think there's some opportunity there if we can get around, especially the favorite in the last leg, especially. But I did throw in the 8th race, the 10 aggressive lime out of the Brad Cox barn. And what I like to tell people all the time is I'd rather have an aggressive lime than an emotional orange.
I remember you telling me that before. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So aggressive lime is actually on the verge of being a decent horse. I think this might be a good spot. So we're going to throw that one in there in the 8th. The 9th, we're going to use Akati Flatter as well, who I think has been running very, very good. Should be able to come back and run a really good race off of that one on April 7th for Randy Klopp, who's hitting on all cylinders. He does great work over there at Horseshoe. And we're also going to use the 7 Work at Wendy, who Josh seems to like quite a bit. But we're going to end it off with the Puma, La Puma.
La Puma.
The Puma.
La Puma.
He's got 3 names now.
It's too much. It's too much work.
And we're going to go with Starting Trouble, the 8. I can forgive that first start. They were the favorite, $1.80 on the dollar. And just didn't fire at all at the fairgrounds. Comes over to Horseshoe in a way more winnable spot. All they have to do is get out of the gate. I think they were meant to be on the turf the whole time. So we're going to use those 2 to end out this card.
I played the late pick 4. I got a $60 ticket. I think it's that kind of spread in the first 2 legs, especially the 2 handicaps at the beginning of essentially the 3 handicaps, and then the maiden special close the card as far as the thoroughbreds for the pick 4. Guys, I love this because in the second leg, I have all horses that you guys didn't even mention.
That's good.
It is great. No, it's great.
Somebody's going to hit.
Right?
Somebody's
got to hit there at some point. I did go 3, 2, and 1. In the second handicap here. I really disagree with you guys on that one. In the Corningstone for sure. I included Akati Flatter like you just mentioned. That's why I was nodding so furiously. But I do think Hot Middles here is a really interesting runner for Tiana Richardville. One last out in an allowance. That speed will win in this field. And then I think second off the layoff here, don't miss out. The 1 horse here has been very good in optional claiming company in different levels at Horseshoe. Ran second in a handicap just last year. Second off the layoff here, an 18% play for Gennaro Garcia as well. I'll go 3 and 7 in the last. I'm going a little chalky to close the sequence. I hate to do that, but I do think La Puma is very much in play here, but I do think Amani's music lays over this field by quite a bit. So there you go, gentlemen. You survived your second time hanging out with us. His name is Josh Rodriguez. His name is Barry Spears. We'll be back at it very soon with this. Barry and I will be in Baltimore this week and in Laurel this week. And at BWI this week. many other places.
And East
but-
Jabip.
And
Yes.
East Jabip, all of it's East Jabip, really. The Barn area at Laurel is known as East Jabip. But no, Friday night, 7:30 Eastern time, we'll be doing our annual Preakness seminar at Jimmy Seafood upstairs on the second floor. We're in the back room past the bar, so come on by and see us up there. And of course, you can catch us 11 to noon on ESPN Louisville on Saturday and on WBAL Radio, the Big Stick in Maryland, 11 to 1. Look for Barry on TV on WBAL TV between 2 and 4.
Yeah,
Because I'm
buddy.
only getting one shift. I used to get 2, but Barry's coming, and this is my life now. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Have a great rest of the week.